Hello, Insights fans. Todd, aka Cowboy Lamp here. I've been asked by the powers to be at Insights to represent the Dallas Cowboys on their upcoming NFL Draft segment show, and it's my pleasure to do so. But first things first. The following video is authorized and intended only for the use on Insights. Use on ESPN or any other media outlets is strictly forbidden without my written permission and commission. The Cowboys, coming off of a disappointing 12-5 season, my boys have taken some major hits this offseason. We've lost 7 starters and 3 or 4 more significant contributors, either by trade, free agency, or flat out release. Highlighted by the trade of Amari Cooper to the Cleveland Browns, which I'm okay with, and the free agent loss of Randy Gregory to the Denver Broncos, which I'm not okay with. But last but not least, the release of offensive tackle Lael Collins totally befuddles me. He's our starting right tackle. He can play guard or tackle just as well. He's under contract for the next 3 years at $10 million per year, which is not a lot of money in today's NFL. And we let him walk out the door with no return. Makes one wonder, what in the football hell? A couple other things that will affect our draft this year are losing our kicker, Greg way offline Zerline, good riddance, and cornerback Kelvin Joseph putting his career in jeopardy with potential murder charges. Both of these issues will now have to be addressed in this year's draft. Now, it's not all bad news. We did retain the services of some of our other significant contributors, such as tight end Dalton Schultz, wide receiver Michael Gallup, safeties Malik Hooker and Jerome Kearse, and linebacker Leighton Vander Esch. We also added some free agents who I think might help: wide receiver James Washington from the Pittsburgh Steelers, defensive end Dante Fowler from the Atlanta Falcons. Regarding the draft for 2022, the good news is that this is a very deep draft class. Because of COVID and extended eligibility last year, this class is extremely deep. We probably have 50% more players available than we did in the past. And that's a good thing. Cowboys have a lot of holes to fill. Offensive line, edge rusher, and wide receiver being at the top of that list. Now, I'm not sure which direction we'll go in first, but if it's offensive linemen, Zion Johnson and Kenyon Green seem to be the two that'll be available there. I would probably lean Johnson because of his position flexibility, but they're both plug-and-play guys, and that's exactly what we need. If it's edge rusher, I like Arnold E. out of Penn State. Now, his last name is not E, but I can't pronounce his last name. No disrespect to the young man. But I promise you this, if we draft him, I will learn how to pronounce his name. But here's the deal. If Ohio State's Chris Olave is on the board when it's our choice at 24, I think he's the gem of the draft and a game changer. And I would definitely take him. So if he's available at 24, I can assure you he will not be on the board any longer at 25. Day 2 of the draft, rounds 2 and 3, I think it's important for us to address the 2 priority positions that we didn't address in round 1. Players I like here are defensive ends David Ajabo from Michigan and Sam Williams from Ole Miss. Offensive tackle Bernard Raymond from Central Michigan. Wide receiver Drake London from USC. And tight end Jeremy Rucker from Ohio State. I'd be very pleased to come away with 1 or 2 of those guys. On day 3, the rest of the draft, I would not be surprised if the Cowboys traded back a time or 2 to add additional picks. Like I said, we need depth at all positions. This is a very deep draft. We may as well take advantage of this draft class and roll the dice on as many players as possible and see what hits. There it is, Cowboy Lamp's perspective of the Cowboys 2022 draft. Rick, I'm going to need you to use your connection, get this to Jerry for me. And by the way, just kidding, ESPN. You can use this if you like. Insights.
Rick, the reporter. Insights. All right, talking about football. I'm a big Buccaneer fan. Let me get right into it. We got the draft coming up. We got Tom Brady, of course, so we got to get some protection for him. With that, he loves to sit in the pocket. I'm not a fan of that, but that's what he do. But anyway, we can pick up Zion Johnson from Boston College on the offensive line to help protect the quarterback. Zion Johnson, Boston College. Also Jordan Davis, I'll take him too. He's another out of Georgia. He's on the defensive side of things, but he's a big dude, 6'6", 341. Oh man, he's like a freak of an athlete to go along with what we already have with Vita Vea. Oh man, so that'll be some fresh blood. So if we can pick up him on the defensive side of things, on that defensive line, defensive tackle, Jordan Davis, or offensive line, Zion Johnson out of Boston College, to go along with, we already re-signed Ryan Jensen, Aaron Stinney. We picked up Shaq Mason out of the Patriots, from the Patriots. He was their guard, so he's a veteran at the guard position. So we picked up him. Todd Bowles, he's the head coach now, so he's doing his thing. He's recruiting guys to protect and to go along with what we already have. But we have to protect Tom Brady. So we also picked up Fred Johnson from the Bengals. He's another big 6'7", 326 pounds. Oh man, I can't wait to get him in the Buccaneer uniform. But he's an offensive line as well. Big dude. Oh man, Fred Johnson. So that was a big pickup. We picked up Keanu Neal. He's from Webster, Florida. He's a safety. Been established in the league as one of the hardest hitting safeties in the league. So we picked up Keanu Neal. He played last year with the Cowboys at the linebacker position. So he's actually going back. Todd Bowles recruited him to come to Tampa to play his original position, which is the safety position. So I can't wait to get Keanu Neal. So we're looking pretty good. We're looking really good, matter of fact. So we should at least make the playoffs. But that's pretty much it. They wanted us to make this quick. I'm going to wrap it on up. I believe that's pretty much it. I hope I'm not leaving out anything, but if I am, we'll talk about it later on Insight. So I'm signing out. The coach and Rick the reporter. Cliff, Florida Hot Boy, signing out. All right, guys, we'll talk.
So, here we are. 2022 NFL Draft and the Miami Dolphins. Ladies and gentlemen, I have placed my Miami Dolphins on an indefinite suspension since the Brian Flores debacle. But I want to talk more about this playoff drought. The Miami Dolphins have been to the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen, 5 damn times since 2005. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not looking at the players. I'm not looking at the coaches. I'm starting at the top. I'm looking a little side-eye at you, Steven. You've made some moves, and they not have been good. So I'm looking a little side-eye. Stephen Ross. Looking a little side-eye at you, Stephen. I'm looking side-eye at you, Stephen. Stephen, do you hear me? I'm looking side-eye at you. I got damn near more hats than we have playoff appearances, Stephen. I'm looking side-eye at you, son. Let's get it together. Enough. And to make matters worse, you're a Trumpster. Now, I'm not going to hold that against you because we all have our political beliefs and thoughts. But I don't give a damn. We're going to get to the playoffs, Stephen, or this relationship will be over. You better make sure that the weapons that have been brought in are going to yield results. Or once again, this relationship will be. I got my eye on you.
Draft 2022, and I am Creedell Wingate, your number one Pittsburgh Steelers fan, coming live to you from the lab in the ATL, Georgia. About to let you know what it's going to take to get my team back in championship contention. Get that steel curtain defense back to where it needs to be. First of all, we need to tighten up. That run defense, man, that run defense was terrible. That was like putting a knife through hot butter. It was just too easy. And they were just running all over us like we were little boys last year. I mean, it was bad. And we've addressed some of those needs in free agency. But we still need some young blood on that side of the ball to address this offensive line. It's one of the worst offensive lines in football. Last year, in the last year of the legendary Ben Roethlisberger, he was a statue. And we had to get rid of the ball a lot quicker than usual. We didn't even give our receivers a chance to get down the field to even make explosive plays. And speaking of receivers, we've lost 3 receivers in free agency. So we need speed on our team. We need a quarterback. We need speed on the outside. We need interior toughness. We need some down and dirty boys. We need some boys that's going to get down on it. You know, that's going to bring back still. We may draft back to get a few more picks. But let's just say, for argument's sake, say we stay at 20. We need Malik Willis, the quarterback extraordinaire out of Liberty University. He can move. He can throw. He can sit for a year. I know y'all not high on Mitch Trubisky, but he's a good bridge quarterback until we get Willis ready. In the second round, we need to add that speed I was talking about on the outside. We need to add one of those dynamic receivers they have in the draft. You know, once we get that done, there's plenty of down and nasty offensive linemen and defensive linemen that we really need. But the speed, quarterback, and we really need a thumper. We need a big-time thumper in the middle of our defense. Because you can get hurt messing with us. That's what we need. That's what the Steelers need to stay on top and still run this AFC North. There's a lot of nonsense going around. Teams in our division got new quarterbacks, paying guaranteed money and all this to a guy that's probably not even going to be available this year. And if he is, it's only going to be for half the year. That don't mean nothing to us. You guys in the AFC North are still our stepchildren. We run this division. And we're going to always run this division. And we're going to make a Super Bowl run. Now, y'all need any more information from the Wiz, known as Creed Wingate? I got you. And for this 17-game season coming up, prediction, 12-5, and we're going to run this thing. I'm out.
Hey, Coach. Here I am in Cleveland, Ohio, representing the mighty AFC champion Cleveland Browns. Yeah, the AFC champion Cleveland Browns. That's who we will be this upcoming year. So when I think about the draft, coaching, you know, I typically would go to the draft because the Browns for a number of years had the first pick or second pick or third pick. But we have fully reloaded. Our players have matured. We now have the mighty, talented Deshaun Watson for quarterback. And we don't give a damn about the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cincinnati Bungles, and the ex-Cleveland Brown Ravens. So, Coach, when I think about the draft, we don't have a number 1 pick because actually Deshaun Watson was our number 1 pick. We picked early in the second round, of which I believe we're probably are going to take a defensive lineman to complement the mighty Myles Garrett. Or if there is a amazing wide receiver, maybe one of those from Ohio State, just representing Ohio, we'll probably go there as well. So throughout the draft, we're just filling in actually special teams, backups, because man for man, the Cleveland Browns have the best roster in the NFL. And coach, come back to me at the end of the year when I'm sitting back here in the man cave, kicking it, thinking about the world champion Super Bowl Cleveland Browns. The hell with the Steelies. The hell with the Bungles. The hell with the Pigeons. We will represent the AFC Central and the AFC. This draft is just insignificant to us. Actually, I'll probably take in a movie during the draft. Because we are ready. We are prepared. Clayton out from Cleveland, coach.
All right, this is Coach Ruffin. Just want to see if I can give a little bit of a update for Insight Sports. They asked me to kind of talk a little bit about our favorite teams in the draft. So I'm from Pensacola, Florida, so of course home of Emmitt Smith. So I've always been a Dallas Cowboys fan. I don't know why, but I guess that's just kind of my competitive spirit. I've just always been a Cowboys fan since I was young, so I've rooted for the Cowboys, and I root for them hard. So all those Tony Romo and all those times where it's been difficult, it's been hard, but I'm a Cowboys fan. So let's talk a little bit about the Dallas Cowboys and kind of what they have in the draft. I believe they have the 24th pick of the draft, and I've looked through several. If you kind of look at me looking at my iPad, I'm just kind of going through some things here. I know in the first round, they've talked about having a guard or someone on the offensive line. And I think that's a perfect pick for us. I really, truly think that we've got to shore up that offensive line. Now, I'm hoping in free agency, we'll get a receiver or two, somebody come in there. Of course, we lost Cooper. We lost our two other receivers right behind them. So I think we've got to get receiver. But, I mean, let's just be honest. We had probably one of the best receiving cores in the league last year, and we underachieved. So I don't necessarily think that you necessarily have to have the greatest targets. You need to have a couple of good ones. We got a decent tight end, so I think we got to shore up that offensive line. I think that's first and foremost before anything. I also think, kind of looking down the draft, I've kind of seen some of the mock drafts. I think it would be good to get us a defensive end because we lost Randy Gregory. And I know he was huge. I think he ended up signing with the Broncos. So I think opposite DeMarcus Lawrence, it would be good to have a solid guy there. Dorrance Armstrong, I think, has done well. I like the defensive defensive tackles, I'm sorry. Linebacker, I'd love to get a little depth there. You know, our rookie was from Penn State was awesome. I mean, he was amazing. Parsons came in and had a year we would have never thought. I think Dan Quinn's a great defensive coordinator. I think our secondary overperformed. You know, Diggs led the league in interceptions. So I think the secondary, the Cowboys, we've never really been big on going out and spending big money on a safety. We normally try to keep it where we can be cost efficient or cost effective. So looking forward to the draft, I really do hope we shore up that offensive line because we lost one. We lost our tackle. He ended up leaving. He was a starter for us. So I know we've got a swing tackle, Terrence Steele. He'll come in there. I think he'll fill in at that tackle position. But I really think shifting around, we need to get that offensive line solidified the best way we can. I do think we need to get an edge rusher. I do think we probably need to get a tight end for the future. I think we will maybe through free agency try to see if we can shore up a receiver or maybe a linebacker. But I just hope the Cowboys, even if we don't pick at 24, and we draft back, that's okay, depending upon how the chips fall. I think it's kind of hard to do a pre-draft talk because you don't know who's going to trade. Best scenario, if everybody just picks 1 through 24, you can kind of go from there. But I really feel with the quarterbacks moving and receivers moving, I really think some things could shift and change. So that's it in a nutshell, I think, for the Cowboys. We got to shore up that offensive line. I think we got to get an edge rusher. Maybe through free agency, get a wide receiver. We're going to eventually have to do something there with our secondary. I just hope we make wise picks. We do fairly good in the draft. So I'm confident there with our draft guys. We've got some guys that do some really good things. I think they're at the Senior Bowl, and it translates to draft day. So hope these Cowboys can finally come through. They've been hurting us. They've been breaking our hearts. We just hadn't had good success. But maybe this year, you never know. Starting with the draft, we can see them Cowboys do something great.
Hey, what's up, Mick and Rick? How you guys? And how's everybody out there? This is the coach, Milton Spence, all the way here from the 6. Big up Toronto, big up Desai Williams, big Buffalo Bills fan. That's my boy right there, my golf partner when I'm up in Toronto, and he just passed away. So, you know what? Big him up. And here we go. All right, we're going to talk draft and my Buffalo Bills and what they're about to end up doing and to make that team better for the future. Let's start with, just what we're dealing with as a team. We have Sean McDermott as head coach, Leslie Frazier as the defensive coordinator, and Brian Dabble was the offensive coordinator, but now is the head coach of the look at that. This cup flashes. My God. Buffalo Bills in the house. All right, so Brian Dabble is now the coach of the New York Giants, and they suck, so he's in a good place. If he wins 5 games, he looks like next to the draft. What do the Bills need? Not much. So Jordan Poyer is kind of holding out. He wants more money, that sort of stuff. I get it. He played a great season last year. Was a big contributor. Tre'Davious White, a great cornerback, will be back this season. The defense is solid, so we don't really need much. Maybe another defensive back, maybe another safety, just depth. If Poyer doesn't come back, no big deal. We can always install one of these young cats that we draft. All right, so I got 2 Georgia dogs, right? 2 Georgia dogs that are going to replace Poyer or being the Bills defense that I think that we should draft. All right, first, Louis Cena, the actual safety, the free safety for the Georgia Dogs football team. Okay, that guy is a beast. He is instinctive first. He's athletic second. He has no fear third. Right? He's hungry fourth. Right? The dude has all the attributes of someone who's going to make it and will not take a no for an answer. The dude wants it and wants to be successful in the NFL. Second, we have Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean has gone from high draft pick to low draft pick now, right? And he has something to prove, right? So I believe Nakobe Dean is sort of that guy that is not really a linebacker, and he's not really a safety. He's sort of hybrid. So I think Nakobe Dean is a guy that gets in the box, can cover tight ends, can play goal line and stuff like that from the safety position and be successful. So I believe either one of those 2 picks, the Bills will have picked a player that will be in their system and be successful in their system for the future. All right? So that's my draft prediction for my Bills, who will be there in the Super Bowl next year against whoever wants to be there from the NFC. And that's all good, right? Would love to see Tom Brady do it again and get back with Tampa Bay Bucks, right? Against my Bills and Josh Allen. All right, so that's it. Thanks for having me, Mick and Rick, and Insight. Peace out.
Mickey Clay, the coach. Inside Sports. We try to be everywhere. I try to support my team. If you're going to be a fan, then you're going to be a fan.
If you're a true fan, you roll with your team. You don't sit in there in your living room watching them and drinking your beer. You go out, you support them. You get that sweat on you. You hear the crowd. You hear the roar of the crowd. You hear people chanting. You see them. And you see that look in their eyes when you beat them. Yeah, we excited about it. Our first round draft pick was Deshaun Watson. There ain't no secret about that. We did what we had to do. We had an owner that stepped up. The reason everybody mad with him is because he put $250 million up in the bank the moment he signed it. When you get a guaranteed contract, you got to put the money up. What other NFL owner has that kind of money that he could put up cash to support his team? A lot of billionaires own the team, but those guys' money is tied up in investments and different things. The Haslam's, his job is he sells gas. Have you filled your car up with gas lately? He making money hand over fist sitting in the bank. He put it in his team, $250 million. He flexed, and the other owners are angry. We could care less. If they had got him, they'd have been all right. But Haslam, he's from a new breed of owner. On to the draft. We need a wide receiver. Not as badly, I think, as a defensive lineman. It'll tell you if we're going to bring Clowney back about who we draft. If we get a wide receiver, George Pickens is a guy who might fall 6'3", runs a 4.45. Coming off an injury, he'll drop some. He might drop to us, but the one we really want is Logan Hall, 6'6", 283 out of Houston. He's a man-child in there. David Ajobi from Michigan, coming off of Achilles, 6'4", 250. He might fall to the second round. One thing we know about our general manager, he likes them young in age. Allows them to grow and mature. If they're an older draft pick, he might take a flyer on them, but he tends to think that, is the guy really that good, or is he a 23-year-old playing against 18 years old? He also likes them from the Power 5 conference because they play that competition week in and week out. He likes them athletic, and he likes them fast. Okay? Another one, he might go in the third round, Alex Pierce from Cincinnati, 6'3". Don't forget John Mechie from towards ACL. He's a Landry type of receiver. He's at Alabama. If he's available in the 78th pick, he might go that way. A little reach, John Ridgeway, defensive tackle from Arkansas, 6'5", 321. The draft prognosticators are saying that Cleveland will take him. I'm not so convinced, even though he fits a need in the middle. He's a little older, and our GM puts a little bit more stock in the edge rushers than he does on the defensive tackles. His perception, he needs to be able to stop the teams that can pass, because everybody in our league can pass. Hey, we'll see you. And for all you talking stuff that didn't even show up, talked all that stuff, didn't show up, didn't put your stuff in, I don't even want to hear from you. It's the Cleveland Browns, one of their main fans all the way down here in Florida.